Okay, I can stop right here. When you lend this is a tall order. We can spend the rest of our lives trying to get this. I read this today, I was so convicted. Like if Christians acted like this, we would have a much better witness in the world. All right, when you lend something to somebody and they don't give it back to you, don't even ask. Quiet in this room right now. All right? Seriously, that is hard to do. It's impossible to do when you have a mindset of lack that is in agreement with the curse. Only becomes possible when you have a mindset of abundance that is in agreement with redemption. Only. Consider it, it's just, I gave it to Jesus. It's okay. One time, Kaylin kept, when she was little, she had these balloons. You know how sometimes you go places like Publix, they'll give you a balloon to your kids? So at first I liked it, but then inevitably, if you've had kids, you know this, they let go of it and it flies into the air. They don't like the little weight, so they find a way to take that off, but then when they let go of it, it goes. And so what I started saying to her, every time she would let one off and it went up into the air and she didn't have it anymore, I'd say, don't cry, sweetheart, it's going to Jesus. Like I thought that her, this is what I get for lying to my kids, okay? I thought that would comfort her to know that one day she might see her balloon again. And so she was like, I said, don't worry, baby, your balloon is flying up to Jesus. And she would just kind of be like, and kind of quit crying and then get quiet. And so a few times I said this to her, and one time she let go of her balloon, and I said, don't worry, baby, it's flying up to Jesus. And she goes, but it's not fair, it's not fair. And I was like, what's not fair, baby? She goes, Jesus has all the balloons. I'm like, you know, it's time for me to quit doing this. This was a bad idea, you know. But you know, we have to be like that. Like, it's going to Jesus. Letting this go is going to Jesus. And you know what? Jesus does have all the balloons. If you need another one, he'll get you one. Okay? So let's skip down to, I'm just going to keep going. He says, as you would like and desire that men would do to you, do exactly so to them. So if you borrowed someone's blender and you broke it, what would be your best hope? That's okay. It's just a blender. All right. If that would be your best hope, well, that's what you need to do to other people. Sister borrows your shoes and the heel breaks. What would you hope she would do? It's okay. Just shoes. Well, if that's what you hope she will do to you, you know, as you would like and desire that men would do to you, do exactly so to them. Not much we can do with that text, is there? There it is. Let it just sit there for a bit. That's what it did to me. I was like, all right then, Lord. I forgot you said that conveniently. All right. If you merely love those who love you, what quality of credit and thanks is that to you? For even the very sinners love their lovers, or those who love them, is what it's saying. And if you're kind and good and do favors to and benefit those who are kind and good and do favors and benefit you, what quality of credit and thanks is that to you? For even the preeminently sinful do the same. Is this not politics? Right? You do this for me, I'll do this for you. You cut me this deal, I'll cut you this deal. Give me this, I'll give you some money. Most sinful among us do that. Okay? So when we do something like take sisterhood to the Sulzbacher Center, those women will never step foot in this room probably. They don't have transportation. They probably would if we would bring them, but then maybe a lot of them wouldn't. That's intimidating for many of them. They'll never give an offering to here. They're not going to return friendship to you in the way that it feeds your soul, but you're giving something to someone who can't give back to you, okay? Everybody can give something to somebody who's going to give back to you. It doesn't take Jesus. Anybody can do that. That's what Jesus is saying. Like, anybody can give to people who are going to give back to them. I'm asking you to do something better than that if you really want to be my disciples. And he says, and if you lend money at interest to those from whom you hope to receive, what quality of credit and thanks is that to you? Even notorious sinners lend money at interest to sinners so as to recover as much again. Mob, anybody? Okay, but verse 35, but love your friends. No, but love your family that's close to you, that are important to you. No, love who? Love your enemies. Okay, we thought Jesus was like the easy teacher. We thought he was the lenient one. And here he is taking the requirement of the law and tightening the noose in a way that is literally impossible if you live with a mindset of lack that comes in agreement with the curse. The only way that this is possible at all is for you to come into agreement with a mindset of abundance that is only attained through redemptive work of Jesus Christ on the cross and the infilling of the Holy Spirit. That's it. There's no way you can do this without that, okay? So Jesus is calling us to a life that is so far and above what we can actually do that it will show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that we need him, okay? I love this. He says, love your enemies and be kind and do good, doing favors that someone derives benefit from them, and lend, expecting and hoping for nothing in return, but considering nothing, look at this, but considering nothing as lost and despairing of no one, and then your recompense, your reward will be great, rich, strong, intense, and abundant. When you lend something, the minute it leaves your hand, consider it lost. That is a tall order. It is a tall order. And I don't want to toot my own horn about this, but I will tell you there are many times that I have lent and hoped that I would get repaid, but didn't. And you know what? I've never regretted it. Never regretted it. Never regretted not chasing someone down for money. Never regretted not hounding someone for something they borrowed. You know why? Because generosity creates its own spiritual momentum in your life. And you know what? When you're riding the momentum of generosity, you don't want to get off of that momentum to chase down $15 or $100 or $1,000. You just want to keep riding that momentum. It's too precious. But you know what? Until you start that momentum, you can't know that. So it takes a risk of faith to start the momentum of generosity. It really does. It takes a level of faith. You have to come into agreement with the mindset of abundance that we have through redemption. You cannot come into agreement with the mindset of lack that we have through the curse, okay? I'm going to keep reading this. He says, and you will be sons of the Most High, for he who is kind and charitable and good to the ungrateful. No, he says, and you will be sons of the Most High, for he, God, is kind and charitable and good to the ungrateful and the selfish and the wicked. Is that true? While we were yet sinners, God loved us. Christ died for us. Before we chose him, he chose us. And he's saying, when you give and are kind to your enemies, when you approach life from a mindset of generosity, okay, you are most like your Father in heaven, because your Father in heaven gave up everything. Jesus gave up everything to humble himself and squeeze himself into the confinements of the flesh so that we would no longer have to live in agreement with the mindset of lack in every area of our lives that comes through agreement with the curse. He became the curse for us so that we could become the righteousness of God in him. So if the curse is lack and struggle and fear, and Jesus became that curse for us so that we could become what? The opposite of that, the righteousness of God in him,